go-between.
Basically, what you're looking at there is a cross-section profile of a railroad car bridge.
Wow.
What's the maximum span or what you can put
We'll get
for
into
one
some of these.
car? Okay,
We'll
I
get
just
into some of
gonna
these
say,
details. But just a little bit of background. Iowa's 5th in number of bridges in the state, or in the nation, and 30th in population. So there's actually more bridges in the state of Iowa than there is in the state of California. Buchanan County, we have 257 bridges over 20 feet. We still have 9 pin-connected trusses in use. That doesn't count those we put up on trails or flown out. New construction costs, and you guys have seen it if you tried to build a railroad car bridge, but typically for me, I'll get about $283,000 a year, but a 30 by 100 cost me about $105 a square foot, or about $315,000. And we have to have an economical alternative, or we're going to have 250-year-old bridges, and they just don't last that long.
Butler Bridge.
Do you recognize this one?
Well, no, it looks like the old one in Johnson County.
Sutliff Bridge, yeah.
We've done some simple repairs, and this is a method of bridge deck overlays that we actually developed to a large extent here in Buchanan County that the state's using now. And it's using super plasticizers and ready-mix concrete rather than the standard method. Repairs, and that's what bothers me a little bit, and I have never looked at the one on the Cedar Valley Nature Trail, but it seems like a gunite fix or something would have been an economical solution in there, and yet, hey, I'm not involved with it, and I got my finger in too many piles anyway. Recycling's an option. This happens to be a bridge where we salvage the deck off of one bridge, the beams off of another, and put them together on 3 other bridges. I don't know if Bill recognizes this one. We've constructed 14 bridges on railroad flat cars, and this is a map of the county showing where they're at. And if you want to see one, we'll go just north of Independence here, Carl Eddy's Bridge.
Yep.
Take a look at it. That's what they look like when we're done.
So wow.
That's a rail car?
That's a bridge built out of railroad flat cars.
No, you got
So
two of
how-
them side by side.
Two side by side?
3 one in this case.
Three. Okay. that
Some of them
makes
are 2, some of them are 3. Types of cars: pulp cars, military, 89-foot flat cars. Currently, they're costing me about $16,250 delivered. I had an opportunity to buy 50 of them at $13,000 a piece, so I called a friend, and there were about 4 or 5 counties going to buy a bunch of them up. Then we came to find out that we can't bond for bridges unless you show economic development. So this bull that you hear coming from the governor's office is pretty deep. You need taller shoes because they do put it out.
So you can't bond for bridges
Unless
unless
we
there's
can show-
economic development?
Yes.
Is that a
What can you
crock or
say?
what?
Can you go?
Yes.
So you just have to pay for it out of your normal 5-year road plan money?
Which we don't have enough to maintain the existing system.
So,
And so here we were going to buy a bunch of railroad flat cars, and this was all 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yep, that's right here.
And nope, can't do that. And we were getting them delivered cut to 68 feet for $12,500, and typically I could build one of these bridges like you're looking at for $62,000 to $75,000.
Versus 3 what?
350. Well, that's a little bit because that's a 100-foot slab. 75 would be closer to what I'm talking in this.
so 200.
And yeah, you can cut that down to 240,000. Yeah.
240,000 and you can do it for 75.
Wow. So you can build 3
Wow.
bridges.
Yes, and my board gives me a lot of latitude because of that.
I would bet so.
3 bridges for the price of one.
Do you want to
no,
consult
now,
to other counties?
You're talking one rail car?
I've worked with Winnebago County, I've worked with Washington County, I've worked with O'Brien County. I can name a few other counties that kind of went off on their own. And generally speaking, we've learned pretty fast the right way of doing it. We listen to some of the mistakes in the others.
And these are 3 wide.
2 or 3 wide.
2 or 3 wide at 75,000 per bridge. Wow.
Now there's some other things going on here too that's got me excited on maybe ways of doing it even cheaper. But this is what the bottom of a railroad car looks like. That steel tends to be about a 1/2 inch thick. So that's a huge box beam.
Mm-hmm.
So, you were having them cut to 69 feet?
68 feet, 3 inches
68
about.
feet.
Was that for transportation?
No, that's because of the way the car is designed, and they're designed for, I'm gonna use the term, they're at a bolster and the trucks. In other words, the wheels are setting in there about 11 feet.
Right.
And that bridge isn't designed to clear span that.
So if you were gonna put in a trail, 68 feet, and what, 11 foot wide with one boxcar or one
They-
flatbed?
We'll get some variation in the cars, and anywhere from 8 foot 3 inches wide up to 10 foot wide.
3 to 10.
8 to 10.
And I can get that
Yeah.
bridge for, what'd you say, 13,000 or something?
Yeah, 68
Yeah.
feet long, I can
Or
probably.
That's
yeah.
raw material.
For
Right,
probably
and then-
13,000 delivered.
I mean, have you thought about what it'd cost to put them on a trail? I mean, to get them up to snuff,
transport.
Depending on,
abutments?
all right, well, you know, I just came across a cheap abutment lately. I mean, cheap, a couple days labor for a couple guys, no real significant equipment, no specialized equipment. And I haven't built any, there hasn't been any in Iowa built this way. There's been some bridges in Ohio built this way. And I'm expecting an expert to fly out of Washington DC, paid for by Federal Highway, to come and talk to some of us on how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably got 5,000 in the abutment. Now let's talk some numbers. You need a bridge. Let's say it's a 68-foot bridge. Car's costing me 13,000.
Mhm.
For probably 4 or 5,000, I can get an abutment built, and 3,000 I can get Coonrod or somebody to set them.
Okay.
Now I got a
What would it cost
guardrail
to
system.
Getting the bridge to the construction site, and then
Those are delivered prices.
to the construction site.
To the
So they'll-
construction
they'll
So
site.
drop the 68-foot
13,500,
slab.
3?
13,000 plus 5 plus 3.
Well, then you have your railing too, though, right? You're talking about your railing.
Guardrail, handrail, whatever system. Highway type rail that I'm putting on, I can generally do that. I got a couple hundred in tubular steel and about 1,000 in
Aluminum guardrail.
steel, galvanized steel tri-beam.
But that's road quality on a trail quality. It's,
What do you want to have for a handrail? Yeah,
You could have 4x4 cedar if you wanted to, probably,
you could.
or less than cedar.
he needs to be connected with Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation. And I mean, they're the quote trail builders of the state.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is there's ways of doing things. This is where we got 3 of them set by side. These happen to be pulp cars. They hadn't figured out how to build with a pulp car yet. It's got a belly in it. I said, put P-rock in it and cover it with asphalt millings.
Sure.
And I kind of skipped ahead. I should jump back.
So you just filled them up with P-rock and then asphalted over the top of it?
I didn't even put down true asphalt. I put down asphalt millings. Again, you can see the belly.
Okay, drainage on something like that?
They
would
have
be-
weep holes built in these, so they.
Okay,
So the P-rock, my theory was the P-rock will let the water get to the weep holes without plugging off the weep holes and it gets out. We learned after a major flood, not on this bridge, but on another one, where it took all my P-rock and everything off, we covered it with road rock and it's working fine. Carletti's Bridge.
Yep.
The water was up about the height of the barrier rail.
and you got hard surface on top of that road rock, or is it just road rock?
So is this,
There's no reason you couldn't hard surface it. In my environment, I'm better off not, because I'm
Right.
putting it purely on, I'm putting it purely on,
I was just
rock
thinking
roads.
maybe that, some of that recycled asphalt glue that you're talking about. Shingle glue
There are
there.
ways of doing things.
Maybe semi.
That's a military car. This one even has the stake pockets in it already. You just drop the tubular steel post right in and go. If you get somebody that's good on the internet for government agencies, you can quite often get the cars free. Now your problem is where are they at? I haven't had time to look, but I'm hearing the military's dropping a lot of their rail transport assets, and a lot of them may be at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin.
Mhm.
Not too far away.
Not too far away. There's ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
they can come back.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, we'll
This
go
is
for
an
a
89
bicycle.
foot for highway purposes. For highway purposes, I need a pier in there.
Right.
Sure.
Because of that 11 foot ends, it's not designed to carry those loads. typical 68 foot or an 89 foot cut to